The Air Jordan 1s have been at the center of the sneaker world over the last few years, and in my mind are an absolute must-have sneaker in any sneakerhead's collection. However, because there have been so many colorways redesigned and re-released, it can be kind of confusing knowing which ones are actually worth the dough. So in today's video, I'm going to break down the 6 Air Jordan 1s that you need in your collection right now in 2020. What's going on, people of the internet? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, hey, how's it going? My name is Caitlin. I'm a sneakerhead and entrepreneur on a mission to help encourage and inspire people to find their passion. Today we're back with another sneaker video, and we're talking about my all-time favorite shoe, the Air Jordan 1s. If you've watched any of my sneaker related content before, and hey, if you haven't, what in the world are you waiting for? I'll link it up there. But y'all know I'm a huge fan of the Air Jordan 1s. Honestly, I could be totally cool if they were the only kicks in my collection. I just wish all the hype around them would cool down a bit so the prices would drop just for a hot second so I could pick up some of these classics. Today's video is for anyone out there looking to add some new Air Jordan 1s to their sneaker collection, and even those out there looking to just get their very first pair. I'm going to be giving you 6 different dope colorways, but you by no means have to buy all 6, but you should definitely try to have at least one of them in your collection. Just a heads up before we dive in, I won't be including any of the Off-White or Travis Scott collaborations. While I definitely think they are dope shoes, they're not a realistic cop for the average sneakerhead price-wise, so I want to cater this more towards somewhat more affordable ones. We believe in wearing your kicks on this channel, and we all know if you're pulling up dripping in Off-Whites or Travis Scotts, they're likely shoes that you're keeping on ice and are just saving. In no particular order, the first sneaker on our list is the Air Jordan 1 Retro Metallic Red. I know Jordan Brand just recently released the metallic pack of the Air Jordan 4s, but I feel like the metallic colorway in the Jordan 1s is kind of super underrated. I personally own the 2017 retro release of this shoe, and it's honestly one of my all-time favorite sneakers. The shoe is so clean, and the metallic red subtly accents the white perfectly. I feel like Jordan Brand got this retro release right. They didn't mess with much from the original and didn't overdo it with colors or design. It's simply a shoe that speaks for itself. It might not carry as much hype as some of the OG colorways, but it's definitely not a sneaker that I think you should be sleeping on. Another thing that I love about this colorway is just how low-key it is. It doesn't necessarily scream Jordan or Chicago, which is what helps it fly under the radar. It's not a shoe that makes you immediately think of Michael Jordan, but a shoe that you can still appreciate. In fact, it is actually really dope to have an OG colorway that isn't heavily tied into the Chicago colorway, in my personal opinion. I think it's a shoe that just ages well and is kind of a classic that goes under the radar, so don't sleep on it. Moving on to the next sneaker on the list, one that I'm actually not a huge personal fan of, but I know is super popular, and that's the Air Jordan 1 Shadow. This is another OG from Jordan, and much like the previous sneaker, it speaks for itself and keeps it simple without any gimmicks. It's one of those classic sneakers that can carry the weight without any flashiness or collaborations. Personally, I don't like the dark black leather with the gray, but overall it's definitely a nice silhouette and a solid classic that sneaker aficionados should definitely be looking to add to their collection. The shoe has been re-released numerous times. The 09 release was probably one of the best ones and is always quick to sell out, making it a little more difficult to pick up these bad boys without breaking the bank. Despite that, it's definitely a shoe that has a place in any sneaker collection, and I feel like it's a pair you can wear a ton and have it still look like a dope classic. I know a lot of sneakerheads consider this shoe to be a absolute must-have, a kind of grail in the Air Jordan 1 collection, so I am by no means hating on this shoe. I know it is very popular, a lot of people want to have it, just not personally my cup of tea, but you should definitely make room for it in your sneaker collection, and if you want to rock it, if you think it's dope, then definitely rock it. I'm gonna pass, but hey, that's okay. We're moving on to our next Air Jordan 1. The next Air Jordan 1 on the list is the beloved Air Jordan 1 Blacktone. When I was in school, one of my good buddies was a sneaker reseller on the side, and he told me that this was the one shoe out of all the shoes he's bought and flipped that he absolutely had to keep for himself. This colorway is absolutely beautiful and a little bit of a twist on the classic OG. This is one of the colorways that MJ made history in and actually wore on the court, so that automatically raises the hype behind it. Not to mention it celebrates his beloved Chicago Bulls. I feel like this is a sneaker that is bold enough yet sleek enough to stand on its own and be a standout piece both in your collection and when you rock them. The color combination of the red and black with a white base honestly looks super stellar and is so clean, which in my opinion would make it a dope shoe even without the Jordan Chicago connection. Compared to the metallics, this is more of a shoe that ties directly to the Chicago colorway, and because of that I feel that it is an instant classic and a must-cop sneaker. It's one of those instant classic colorways and it ties into the Chicago history, and it just honestly looks so dope on your feet. It's such a beautiful shoe, and for those reasons it is definitely a must-have shoe for any Air Jordan 1 or sneakerhead fan, you need to have this shoe in your collection. Keeping the train rolling, we got the Air Jordan 1 Royal that came out with the retro in 2013 and then re-released in 2017. This is another one of the iconic OG colorways that carry a lot of hype. Y'all know I love red sneakers, but it's actually really cool to see a nice classic Jordan 1 that features another color, and I think the blue and black mixture works perfectly together on these bad boys. Now you might be wondering why this shoe and this colorway is such a dope classic with so much hype, and that's because some believe that it was actually Michael Jordan's favorite colorway, and it was one of the first colorways to release to the actual public, and believe it or not, it was one of the only OG Jordan 1 retro colorways that he never got to lace up on the court. The other two colorways being the Chicago and the Band, which are also on this list. The blue and black colorway goes with almost any outfit, and like I mentioned, adds a cool non-Chicago specific colorway to an absolute classic standout shoe. You should definitely be looking to add a pair of Air Jordan 1 Royals to your collection. Of course, we can't talk about the Royals without our next sneaker on the list, the iconic Breads, which is hands down one of the most beloved and hype Air Jordan 1s. One of the things I love about the iconic Breads is the fact it's a shoe that will almost never die. It's one of the sneakers that you can wear into the ground and still have it look like a top-tier classic shoe. If anything, the wear and tear makes it look even better, so you get solid mileage out of your money. The Air Jordan 1 Bread is honestly bordering on an essential shoe for any sneakerhead. It is an instant classic and one of the most recognizable and respected Jordan 1 OG colorways. It is a shoe that is on my Grail personal wish list because I haven't seen a pair at a price that I feel comfortable copping at yet, but definitely a shoe that I will one day have in my collection because it's just straight up beautiful and absolutely iconic. When you see this shoe, you just immediately think of Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. It's just a classic. It's synonymous with him. The red and black features make the shoe an instant head turner and will pair nicely with so many different outfits. And to be honest, it's a shoe that kind of makes any fit you rock it with. It's an instant classic regardless of what re-release you have. They're all worthy of the hype and a spot in your collection. I know so many people own the classic Breads, and it's definitely a hype shoe that looks dope and I personally think is worth the hype. Rounding out our list of the top 6 Air Jordan 1s that you need in your collection is of course the iconic Air Jordan 1 Chicagos. A while back I bought a pair of shoes on the internet that I thought was actually the Air Jordan 1 Chicagos, but it turns out they're actually the 1.5 version of the sneaker, which honestly I still think is pretty dope. It's a beautiful shoe, but if you have a chance to pick up the legit Jordan 1 Chicago, it's an absolute must cop. Obviously, Jordan played for Chicago, so this was an obvious classic sneaker both for him and Nike to release, and one that just speaks volumes. Anytime you rock this bad boy, people instantly recognize and respect the heat on your feet. The Chicagos and the Breads are both stellar OG colorways that everyone goes hype over, and honestly, they are such beautiful sneakers that every sneakerhead needs to have. There's really not much more to say about these. Go get yourself a pair of the Chicagos to help solidify your sneaker collection and instantly take it up a few notches and get that respect. Now, quickly before we roll the outro, I feel like I didn't break the mold too much on this list, so I'm going to leave you with a couple honorable mention Air Jordan 1 colorways that aren't the classic OGs necessarily, but are still really dope and definitely worth your cop for your collection. First up, we have the Air Jordan 1 Rookie of the Year. I absolutely fell in love with the shoe at SneakerCon in Toronto when I saw someone rocking them with the red laces. Honestly, they're so low-key, they almost slide right under the radar, but don't sleep on them because they're definitely a fire colorway in my opinion. They're such a classic, beautiful shoe. I've seen a few pictures on Instagram. They look absolutely dope. They look like an OG colorway, or what should be an OG colorway, because they're so classy, so nice, and it's definitely a shoe that you need to consider picking up. Next, in the honorable mention, we have the Jordan 1 Retro Court Purples. While red is still hands down my favorite sneaker color, purple is quickly stealing second place, and these shoes that just re-released in 2020 are an instant classic in my opinion. There was a lot of hype surrounding the colorway, making it very difficult to cop, but it's definitely a pair that I suggest you try to add to your sneaker collection. It's beautiful, it's clean, it's fresh, and it's a little bit of a new perspective on some of the older re-releases. I am a big fan of the Air Jordan 1 Shattered Backboard 3.0. Personally, I dig them a lot more than the OG version, and I think they're a dope shoe for Halloween. This is a shoe that didn't really arrive with any huge classic hype, but people just simply fell in love with the colorway and how it looks, and I think the shine of the 3.0 looks really stellar and makes it a standout shoe all on its own. It's definitely more of a unique colorway and style that brings out its own character to the shoe and the fit. There you guys have it, folks, my list of the must-have Air Jordan 1 sneakers for your collection. I tried to keep my list as close to the iconic OG colorways as I could, and these are definitely some of the more highly coveted, more expensive sneakers on the market right now. But everyone loves the classic Air Jordan 1s, and honestly, who can blame them? They're such beautiful shoes. I absolutely love them. Anyways, you guys have seen my list. Let me know down in the comments below what Air Jordan 1s are essential for your sneaker collection. What are or were your must-cops? Well, it looks like that is all the time we have on today's video. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to watch it. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and then hit that subscribe button to join the family and be notified when I make new content. After that, make sure to follow me on my Instagram. My sneaker account and my personal, 2 separate accounts, will be linked in the description below. I'd appreciate the follow. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video.